Well, that was AEW. There was no surprises. There was no. There was no. There was no.
No big shockers.
No big shockers. No FTR. No nothing. No nothing. All right, to YouTube, to the media scrum we go. Is Fatal going to catch up on the other matches, or he doesn't care?
I'll catch up later.
Well, I will say this. I will say this honestly. We're going to get to the media scrum, and then we'll get a review to you guys, and that'll be that for this pay-per-view. Honest thoughts. I will be real with you. It started out fire. Mid part with the Saraya Britt Baker match was a little at the down point for me, but you could tell Saraya was getting the ring rust off. People were, gotta remember she hasn't
But
been.
she's had enough time to get that ring rust off.
Not big.
She should have already had that off. No, she had to go the extra mile and make sure she was fully medical cleared by multiple different doctors and this and that. To me, it seemed like she just played it off more and more and more and more, just to keep going and going and going until the match.
Well, it's hard because you have. I'm not trying to defend her. I'm just saying that AEW. Do you put her out there too soon and you get her hurt, or do you wait for all the doctors to clear her? Tony Khan's in a hard spot with that. That was the thing going into that. The match was slow. It was. I'm trying to find positives in the match. It was slow. Saraya is doing new moves that I haven't seen from her, as far as I'm concerned. Britt Baker was a shell of herself. But here's the thing, though. Britt Baker lost, but the payoff, but here's the thing, but the payoff is, right, that Hayter wins the belt. You see what I mean? So, and Britt doesn't hurt here. Britt looks more like value stock, you know what I mean? That was the thing going into, so she could take a loss like that to Saraya, right? And I said it at the end of that match, right? And I don't know if Fatal agrees with me. And I said in that moment, I said I was right. I predicted that straight up the top right. And I also stated that Saraya should not be going for the women's belt, period, point blank. You need to build her up and have her go after the TNT, the TVS belt, right? You don't need her to go for this big belt. Let that be Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker's moment. You know what I mean? Then you build that up leading into what's their biggest pay-per-view that you're calling Double or Nothing, right? Fatal? Is it Double or Nothing? But Double or Nothing. Tonight's pay-per-view, the Wardlow thing was very confusing. I didn't understand why he had to lose the belt. Lose the belt to Samoa Joe. I don't know why Samoa Joe is dual TV champions. I didn't understand that. But we'll get into it in a full review here in a little bit. We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss about it. Me and Fatal got, they did the right thing with MJF, though. They needed to do this. It was very predictable. You knew William Regal was going to have some type of say in it.
Man, I called that one. God, that was so good.
But I will say this. What they did was they let Saraya win tonight, right? They did. But they gave it back to Britt Baker, though, in a way. Think about it in this way. They gave it back to her by letting her girl win tonight. You know what I mean? That match was awesome. I thought that women's match was perfect. That's the way they need to be doing women's matches going forward. That's how they need to do it. Now, me and Fatal both said tonight, too, the interim championship thing needs to go away. I agree with that. That needs to be gone. And then Thunder Rosa is perfectly walking. Okay, so she's on Instagram, perfectly walking around a WrestleCon. For somebody that has a back injury like Randy Orton that's had 2 surgeries.
Yeah.
For somebody walking around and talking to fans and walking like a normal person than me with a title in her hand. She said on that Instagram, I don't know when I'm going to be back. They should strip her of a title then. If you don't know when you're going to be back, you should be stripped. Yep. Immediately. That 30-day, this is what I like about WWE. 30-day, you have a 30-day clause. If you don't defend your title in 30 days, you lose it. That's how it should be. I don't think William Regal can wrestle at all anymore. Can he? No, he's officially retired. But here's the thing, though. William Regal is going to be a great manager for MJF. A talking piece. Or MJF becomes the Combat Club. You know what I mean? He becomes the leader of the Combat Club. Which, at that point, he could fire Willie Yuta right out of it because they've had their feud. He can kick them out. Claudio can turn. Like, it screams. I'm going to say this in a good way. It boosts Claudio right now. You could bring in Samoa Joe if you wanted to now within that. And you could have that awesome Combat Club that I said you should have had all along. Samoa Joe would work perfect. Samoa Joe is dual champion. Honestly, he can lose one of those belts to Powerhouse. Powerhouse Hobbs should have not lost tonight. That was a mistake in itself. We're just waiting for a media scrum. And then we'll review the show, and then that'll be, we'll get back to game streaming here in a little bit. But AEW tonight, honestly, for a pay-per-view, minus some minor low points, the show was actually really good. Minus the Saraya thing. That was the low point of the night. Darby Allin and Sting, I was really surprised. I don't know, a lot of people said Sting should retire. I don't know about that. I think Sting should do every 6 months, be a manager, you know? Be Darby Allin's little backup guy or be a manager for somebody. Sting could still go. Sting jumped out of the second exit side into Saddam Singh tonight. He still got it. I don't think Sting should retire. If Sting could take bumps like that and do it all the time, like he doing it and getting up and not limping, he should be doing it every 6 months, not every pay-per-view. Jeff Jarrett looked really good tonight. Do I want to see Jeff Jarrett on pay-per-views and television? Fuck no, I don't. Hell no, I don't. Jeff Jarrett needs to be a manager like William Regal, kind of get somebody under his wing. I think would be perfect for Jeff Jarrett personally. And I'm going to say this nicely. It would work perfectly for Jeff Jarrett. I would honestly say Ricky Starks would work perfect for Jeff Jarrett. I think Ricky Starks needs a manager of some sort. And I think Jeff Jarrett would be perfect for him. If they're going to be pushing Ricky Starks to the moon and back, they need a manager because he can't. That absolute bullshit is not working for him. But tonight, AEW kind of really did a good job. They did not stray from what they were doing. It sets up for Jon Moxley to come back in a couple of months now. Or Jon Moxley continues this storyline, and then he can take his 6 weeks absence like he said he was going to do and go be about his family. I think Jon Moxley deserves a vacation. I think, him leaving as a heel, or it kind of protects him from being a heel full on. It protects him from being a face, really. And then MJF could still be a heel, But we'll see. We got we got Final Battle coming up on December 10th. The same night as Turning Point for or something like that. It's the Judgment Point or Judgment something rather from WWE NXT. We'll definitively get in a month's time after Survivor Series happens and after this happens. We're really going to see where AEW is going with Ring of Honor. I want to see what Tony Khan's going to do. They got TV. They have a distribution deal now with Ring of Honor. Now we're going to see where it's going to go. Tony Khan said he will let us know on the 10th on that one. Maybe it's a streaming TV right deal. Maybe it's going to be on HBO Max and we don't even know. Wouldn't that be something? But we'll see. I don't think it's going to be on TV. They said they got distribution rights somewhere. I'm assuming that's going to be HBO Max. I really am starting to believe that. Because they said they were working with HBO Max. Most of us have HBO Max. We can watch it weekly. I wouldn't mind watching weekly. I said that about Dark and Dark Elevation. That should have been all on HBO Max, not YouTube. But, and our other question we brought up tonight was where do we go with the Acclaim now? Bowens looks legitimately hurt. So what do we do with that? I really thought FTR was going to come in just to save the day, yay, and interfere. And have Swerve and our Glory win it, but they went the other way around than I thought. That me and Fatal have been talking about for weeks now. That Swerve's going to do some shit and turn, and Keith Lee's going to be one of your biggest baby faces.
Yep.
Where does Keith Lee go from here? If I'm Tony Khan and I'm booking, honestly, I have him go for the TNT belt right off the rip. Have him feud with Swerve, get that out the way, and go after the belt. Have Samoa Joe keep this for a minute. And then you have Keith Lee go in and win that title off of Joe. Because Keith Lee's good shit. Keith Lee put on great matches in NXT. AEW did the right thing, too, with the Death Triangle tonight. They did the right thing by having them win. But my thing is a 7 series for the freaking title going forward. That's just stupid.
I see it's long drawn out. Like, I said this while you were gone, and I don't think you heard it. But, like, here's my thing. Yes, there's a lot more story. There's a lot better matches. A lot of longevity in the feud between those two teams. A lot more than even just 3 matches or 5 matches. You know, it's good for a best of 7. But here's my thing: the title should have been vacated or something. Like they should have figured something out in the way of those championships, because Death Triangle holding them all the way through until the end. And then if they lose, they hand them over. You know, that just seems like they're pushing Death Triangle more than they are the Elite.
True. Well, we might just consider this a review since we're literally jaw on the jaw. I can go into YouTube and clip this and put it up for you guys. We're just gonna shoot from here while we're waiting for the media scrum to come on. Tonight, honestly, AEW did a great job. Minus some low points. There was like 2 low points tonight. Everything Tony Khan. But you got to think about this too. He had suspended wrestlers, right? He had all the cards stacked. See, people don't realize that he had a lot of cards stacked behind him. And he had to reward MJF somewhere. You know what I mean? MJF needed to be rewarded here. You know, it was supposed to be originally him and Punk and him taking the belt off of Punk. And Punk did what he did, which
And
screwed everybody.
The good, but the bad is, and I have a little bit of bad there. Why'd you put your All Atlantic title holder on the pre-show and not put the title on the line? You put him in a trios match,
right? And I agree with you there. They really did. They fucked up with that. They did.
Like this is a premium live event,
right?
You don't put all your titles on the line.
True.
Oh wait, you did, all but one.
You did. You two.
You left
two.
You left the All Atlantic Championship out in the cold, and you left the TBS Championship out in the cold.
No, the TBS Championship was on the line, but the 2 belts you're talking about is your Ring of Honor Television and the All Atlantic. You both championships were out in the cold. And you did the stupidity thing where you gave it to Samoa Joe anyway for no reason. Which, where do we go with that storyline? That's what.
And now you're gonna make an All Atlantic title match for Dynamite.
Against Hager.
What the fuck?
Against Hager. Yeah.
Like that could have been on the main card tonight.
Right. And you know,
you could have put Saraya and Britt on the pre-show. To be honest,
you're not wrong with that. Saraya wasn't ready for that match, to be honest with you.
And that would have been a lot of build up for the pre-show. People would have actually tuned in to watch it, and they would have got a lot more views.
I agree with
on the
you
pre-show.
There. What they could have done is they could have taken that 6-man, that 10-man tag that they had at the very beginning, re-scrapped that. They could have put Saraya there. Then they could have had the All-Atlantic Championship, him and Hager, and then they could have ended it with the way they did with. But I get what Tony Khan was trying to do. He doesn't want to have a long pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Long and drawn out like what WWE does.
But that's why you just move a couple matches around. You know, you still could have had the same amount of matches that you had on your main card, except for you would have had one of your main titles being defended.
Correct.
Because that's the way they're looking at the All-Atlantic Championship, is as it's supposed to be as good as the United States Championship if you look at the other brands. And tonight they didn't even put it up.
Well, they're treating it like an intercontinental belt more than a United States title.
Tonight they didn't even put it up.
So, guys, if you're not following the media scrum, we are watching the media scrum. We're gonna kind of review it as we're reviewing the show. Tony Khan coming in. It looks like their press conference is a little smaller. Do you notice that? They're talking about the Revolution pay-per-view right now. Okay. Revolution. I didn't even know that was even still a thing. Is Fatal watching the media scrum?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
I can't even hear what the fuck they're saying. It's so low. Let me go to my GoXLR here to mixer. They're going to be in the West Coast with that pay-per-view?
Yeah, Chase Stadium.
It's going to be a stadium show? Interesting. Oh, here we go. MJF, baby. Tony Khan is shaking his head. Good for him, dude.